Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Owen Bondron. I'm a partner in Independent RX. I also am a partner in two pharmacies here in Ohio. We have a compounding pharmacy and long-term care. And today we have HealNow, Susan from HealNow on, and this is our monthly webinar that we do. Just a couple housekeeping items. There is a Q&A at the bottom, so you can ask questions as we go. We'll either answer them as we go or wait till the end and answering depending if it's in with what we're talking about. This is also being recorded, so if you want to share it with people or revisit it, it will be shared out after the webinar on social media, our website, and via email. And kind of what we're talking about today is, modernizing the pharmacy industry in general. So, with reimbursements being cut more and more, we have to kind of get more efficient with what we're doing. In addition to that, the consumer is changing. Consumers no longer want to go in stores, right? They want things delivered. They want to do curbside pickup. They want a proactive approach to the customer experience. And we as pharmacies have to meet that, but unfortunately, we have to do it more efficiently because of our margins. So today we have Susan Barrett from Heal Now, and this is a product that we're actually using in our pharmacies. So we can kind of talk about both the business experience and the customer, because Tim and I are both customers of it, patient use, and talk about what benefits it's doing, et cetera. I'll let Susan introduce herself.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Tim. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Susan Barrett. I am the VP of Sales and Business Development at HealNow. And as Owen said, what we're here to make life easier for the patient and the pharmacy. HealNow is a fintech company. We are in the online payments and patient engagement platform for pharmacies, allowing patients to seamlessly pay for their medications, purchase OTC items, services, and supplements, answer clinical questions, assessments, or non-clinical questions, schedule shipment, their preferred method, shipment or curbside pickup, and sign for accept all types of payments, sign for their medications, and it's done in seconds. For the pharmacy, we're an integrated solution. As I mentioned earlier, we're a fintech company. And what that means is that we offer flat rate credit card transaction fee pricing versus interchange. So we also not only we streamline operational efficiencies inside the pharmacy, we also save on the fee side and to the fees that interchange that end up eroding profitability. So I'll turn to, as Owen said, Owen and Clark use our solution. So I'd love from a pharmacy and patient side, them to share their experiences.
Yeah, and if you guys have been on our webinars, you probably know Tim as well, but I'll let him kind of answer that question and start sharing and introduce himself.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Owen. I'm Tim Clark, a pharmacist. Been running, our pharmacies for over 25 years. Have had a lot of success, thankfully. Currently, Owen and I are partners in our consulting company and in a couple of pharmacies. We own a long-term care pharmacy and a compounding pharmacy. And as when you focus on anything, which I think we have in the last couple of years, Susan, I mean, we become busier. We've become busier, and so I was one of those people that was banging on Susan's door to say, "Hey, I need some help." I know before, like, you and Owen had met each other, and we visit obviously the same trade shows, and we were looking for someone to make our life easier inside the pharmacy. Which, like, one of the things that I think we originally talked to you about was, gosh, we get so many phone calls, and we're trying to get rid of that, and in our transaction process is just clumsy. We don't look like we're professional. We look like I think I've said earlier, we look like a 1970s kind of pharmacy, waiting for you to bring your physical credit card into my pharmacy and swipe it, where, what we found is that by allowing our customers to get things easier, like basically the way HealNow works for us is, we send a message to our customer that this is how much your prescriptions are going to be. They get a message, it comes through text or email, then they pay it. And then we get a message back saying that it was paid for. And, now we've taken that awkward thing of exchanging any money at a delivery, at a mail, or when you come into the pharmacy, so your customer, like we're all the time, when it comes to, like, say, using Amazon or DoorDash and all these things that have kind of revolutionized how we shop or how we live, in the pharmacy space, like, we were just behind. I mean, we're doing great things compounding, let's say, but we were behind the technology thing, which is, what we were trying to get help from you guys with, and it's truly helping.
Thanks, Owen, or sorry, Tim, based on truly helping, like when you're saying a bunch of phone calls, because obviously some phone calls can be, health advisement, because you guys obviously are in the front line of healthcare. When you say calls, are they are they just like kind of like a quick conversations, like where's my refill, where's my delivery, or here's my credit card number, that now when you automate that, is that what you're saying, that the calls have decreased because of the automation?
Well, like before, what we would do, Susan, is we'd call you and say, hey, your order is ready. How did you want to pay for it? And then, like, we shouldn't do, but you write down a credit card number or punch it into the machine, and you bill them then, and you tell them, okay, that works. So now we don't have to spend the time doing that. I mean, now it's more of answering clinical questions, or or again, whether it's, obviously there's lots of technology now that lets us do two-way, texting. Now we don't have to communicate on the phone. We still do if you need us to, but it decreases it, because now we're not fumbling through entering something wrong, or it's more secure too. I mean, frankly, that's the other thing you hate about it, is like, if I give somebody my credit card number, you kind of feel weird about it.
Right.
I have a daughter who works for a company called, I think I've told you, Toast.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've done is revolutionize the procedure of checking out when you're at a restaurant. Instead of me giving you the credit card and it goes back into the back room and they swipe it and do it, you do it at your table.
That's right.
Which is, again, like, that's where, like, I don't want you to have my credit card.
Right.
I don't, not that I don't trust you or
It's
anybody
risk.
else.
It could go in the wrong hands, or it's not PCI compliant, right?
Yeah.
It's not at all.
And even more than that, what was really happening too was we would call those patients to get, let's say, their credit card. They wouldn't answer. We'd leave a voicemail. They'd call us back. They'd be on hold. Then we'd finally get it. Then we'd run it. Or we'd write it down and not run it because we didn't have time. And then we wrote down a number wrong. It didn't go in. So we got to call them back. Then they call us. So we're creating all this additional thing. And the thing where that's an operational efficiency. But going back to what Tim was saying about Toast and DoorDash, and, before this call started, we were talking about even like car maintenance. Like, the consumer doesn't want to call you. In fact, they don't really want to even come into your store anymore unless they have a problem or want to talk to you about a medical thing. Everywhere you go, Sam's Club, Costco, Kroger, takeout restaurants, McDonald's, you can order prior, pay for it, pull up, someone brings it to you. And that's what they want now. They want it to be easy, right? They want to pay for it and have it show up to their door. And the benefit to that is it also reduces, it creates efficiencies in our pharmacies, because if we have less people coming in, less people checking out, even if they do come in, we can just hand it to them and get them out the door.
That's
Like,
right.
we're not we're not taking as many phone calls, and allows us to work on those clinical items or service more patients with the same amount of people, et cetera.
Well, the thing I was going to mention, guys, it has to do with like usually to change, we're so worried of making our existing customers mad, right? I can tell you this, like we've made those changes and you think, that would be so hard. No, no, it's not hard. Your customer is already used to that. Like I was telling you about like my service appointment with my truck. I don't call to ask how my truck's ready. I'm texting the lady at the Chevy dealer to find out if it, what's going on, and she tells me what it is it covered or not, all through my phone. It's great. And you got to think about it for, also that new customer. I mean, if I come to you and you're operating in kind of I'll call it the mom and pop, with my, the registers open and stuff, like I'm not going to have that much confidence in you, and I'm not going to gain new business. They're the Walgreens, the CVS's, the Amazons, everybody's using this same kind of technology, DoorDash. So like literally, does it not just save time? It does, I think, make you feel and look more professional because that's what they're used to now.
Right. And you're still going to have some people that want to come in. You're still going to have that, but you're providing an option. It's consumer technology has evolved, communication has evolved, and we need to embrace it. Pharmacy needs to embrace it, and that's why we're here. We even have we have a patients can take their phone in the drive-through at a pharmacy and use a QR code and scan, and all of a sudden they can pay for the medications while they're driving up to pick their medication up. So the technician or pharmacist just hands it to them in the drive-through and they're on their way. That's, in a consumer-driven world, everybody's used to instant gratification. They want what they want right now. The microwave started that, didn't it?
True.
But they want what they want, and they want to come in for health advice. They know where to go. They know the compounding lab, these beautiful community pharmacies that they're going to go to that know their pet's name. They're not going to go to Amazon for that. They're going to go into their independent community pharmacy for health advice. But when everybody's busy, when they want to leverage their texting and getting and also knowing, in their busy schedule, okay, my medication just got dispensed. It's ready for me to pay. It's now on the way to me, so they can schedule their day. Now it's at my door front, all through technology. How about that? So the medication gets to the patient a lot faster now. And then as far as the pharmacy is concerned, they get paid faster. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing, and I'll give you some kudos, Susan, for like what your product has done for us. It's actually integrated into the pharmacy system. I'll just not giving anybody plugs. We'll use PK for our software for our compounding lab, and your product works seamlessly in there. So some of the stuff we make are expensive things. Like we want you to pay. We make people pay before we actually make something.
Right.
So it allows us in our workflow to put it at the right spot so that we're not making stuff and then having to throw it away. I mean, like
how much does that cost? How much does that cost a pharmacy when you have to throw it away?
I mean, you're losing $20, $50, $100. I mean, it's bad. Like just one is bad. I mean,
not to mention the time you spent on it. And I guess you bring up a couple points there is, Tim mentioned earlier, bringing it, stop being in the 1970s. Well, a lot of pharmacies are still in the mode of, I fill this, I put it in a will call bin, patient walks up, we get their name, they pay at the point of sale, or at the delivery, hey, I'll deliver it to you. When I get back, we'll run your credit card and this whole thing. Well, what other product is delivered and then paid for? Like, I mean, you and I were joking about, like, could you imagine if Amazon shipped things and then, ran your credit card a couple days later? Like, what is that? I mean, so it's almost confusing today's consumer. And we help people start and buy pharmacies, and we do accounting for, I don't know, 130 pharmacies now. So we have a lot of conversations around how to, should I be doing this, and how do I, keep up with today's consumer and blah blah blah. But the number one thing I hear back from people is, well, my patient base won't use that. Like, they're older, and they won't do it. But you mentioned earlier, Susan, that it's not for everyone. Well, no, it's not. But your 70-year-old is on Facebook and using DoorDash.
New 50, absolutely.
Yeah, like they also still want this. Like, it's snowing, they don't want to go over to the pharmacy. Like, the old days of, hey, today I'm going to the bank and the pharmacy, like, those days are gone. And like, I know that there's still people who do it, but like, your average consumer is no longer doing that, right? And so we've got to get to the point where we can be like every other product.
There's always going to be consumers that want that experience. They're shoppers. They like going to the
Yep.
bank. I know young people that still go to the bank to deposit checks or whatever, where, I haven't done that forever because I just scan it on my phone and then it like loads the deposit. I mean, like, I don't want to go to the bank, but everybody's different on how they want to do that. I think for me as a business person, I just have to give you options because I don't want it to be that I don't want you to not go to me because you don't think I'm convenient.
Right. And
Like,
if you're not doing this, you are not convenient.
Right.
right. And I think that's where people think that, oh, well, I'm stopping my, I don't know, I don't know if this is the chemistry or the vision or whatever it is about your business. No, anytime you're making your business easier, accessible to the consumer, it makes your business better. I mean,
Well,
it's
and you know what? I mean, you mentioned that convenience. Well, guess what? Your competition is doing this.
That's right.
So CVS, Walgreens, Amazon, Mark Cuban, all these places are, texting you and trying to make it as easy as possible for you to do business with them. So, like, it's not a matter of like, we're talking about saving dollars and being more efficient and creating a customer experience, but like, you could become the restaurant that still looks like, we always talk about these nostalgic restaurants that look like they're still in the 1950s. The reality is, like, every city has one of those. All the rest of them are gone. So, like, you don't want to be that restaurant. You want to be the nice new one that can,
That's right.
be more modern, and or else your competitors will push you out.
Well, Owen, like what you're talking about, like these pharmacies, they didn't just make it up and just start throwing texts to people. Consumers demanded that. They demand that. It's consumer driven. That's what consumers want. They've set the bar for that. And that's how they want to communicate. So you've got to give them that option. If you want, you've got to give that option to be competitive. And at HealNow, we offer those same tools for a fraction of the price. It's not that we're turning pharmacies into a digital pharmacy. It's quite the opposite. It's just automate that admin burden, streamline operational efficiency where you can. Don't have like a technician on the phone collecting credit card information. We've heard these stories so many times, collecting credit card information, scheduling a deliveries when they could be, and they're in the front line of pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. What is it? Average patient sees a pharmacy how many times a year? What, 10 times versus
10 or 12. Yeah.
yeah.
doctor 1.5.
Yeah, that's right. So play upon that. Get rid of that admin burden off your back. Automate where you can. So the pharmacy can do what they do best and help the patient with healthcare. So they can live a better quality of life. That's what it's all about.
And we haven't, yeah, and again, yeah, we're not trying to replace the store and become this digital pharmacy. It's supposed to be a hybrid thing. It's almost like, I don't know, Target having a website. You can still order things online, but you can also go to a Target. And we haven't completely started using everything HealNow can do, there's also the cross-selling element of this. Like, it's funny we talk about, these Amazon and Facebook watching us, but then we also love it when they cross-sell things to us, right? So, I got the Echo Dot yelling at me going, "Hey, this is in your cart. It's now on sale." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." That's fantastic, right?
Yes.
Well, HealNow can also, like, if you have a vitamin program or certain OTCs, like, you can cross-sell things in the checkout. So, hey, you're getting this prescription, but last time you also got this. Would you like to add it to your cart? And so you can actually increase your OTC sales without the person ever even coming in your door,
That's
which
right.
is an interesting concept.
And we see on average 30% of the patients that check out on the platform have an OTC or a supplement in their basket. 30%. And then we
Really?
look, yeah, and then it's that high. And then we see when in patients who get, the OTCs in their basket, they have a 22% larger basket than just prescription only. So that's where the margin plays in. And then when we have a pharmacy we have our my colleagues are from pharmacy. They're from pharmacy management systems. So they have a lot of experience. So when we do bit consulting practices, we see a 47% larger than just a prescription only basket, owing to your point of just having these OTCs. And it's the pharmacy can pick the ones that they want that sell the most, or the ones that they want to, help the patients the most. It's their choice of which ones they want to display on our platform, even services as well. So let's optimize that channel, right?
I think, Susan, the biggest problem that we've had is independence is that, we can't stock everything that a CVS or Walgreens, Amazon, we
Sure.
can't. But
Right.
we got 100 items that we sell, and we sell a lot of them. It would be the suggestive selling. It obviously works because everybody does it. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
have the data on it, but if I suggestively sell to you, and then now it's not you feeling awkward looking in my store for the bottle of Aleve, let's say, it pops up here based upon this, and maybe you should get this, or maybe you should get vitamin C or vitamin D, whatever it is that comes up, calcium, it could be probably, I don't know, as a pharmacy, it just makes so much sense that supplements should be like your tag along with every drug. We've got nutrient depletion stuff, and we've got age groups. I mean, men, women, it's easy to say, like, okay, I'm 58. Okay, what do you want to start giving me? Or, I'm a woman. What do you want to start giving me? But again, if I don't have to shop your store, I think I probably could buy it.
Much
Right
easier.
now, right now, I wouldn't even consider it because I really just, again, I can only talk for myself. I just want to get in and out.
Well, you know what
And
we're building, Tim, right now is that real strong suggestive selling. So when a patient's been prescribed an antibiotic, they'll say, we suggest this X probiotic. Not only does that help, it helps with the healthcare of the patient. It helps, with the margin as well. But yeah, that it's because it's right in front of you. It's right there on the platform and you can't miss it. And a lot of our pharmacy customers do discounting because it is a private channel. You can, and we don't recommend like 30 or 40 products. It's more boutique style. The ones that sell the most in the store, the ones that help the patient the most, and seasonality play a role into that as well.
So this is interesting. I just did some quick math, because I love that. And so I think you said we checked out what, 1,700 people last month or something like that. So if 30% of them buy something, and if we have an average order value of $60, a 22% increase in sales would have added $8,000 in sales to our just off of those people that we were already doing business with. I mean, times 12, that's a lot of money. To do what? Put a couple things on a cart, like that's easier than stocking it in your store. And the
Yeah,
great part about that is you probably don't even need to stock it. You could order it when they came in the next day, they'd have it.
that's
Um,
that's right.
so yeah, that was just some quick math,
Yeah,
but
that's
that
great.
can rack up quickly.
Right.
Um, like real quickly. The more it's the old concept of, when MedSync first came around, like put as many prescriptions, in a bag to deliver, right? Because if you could deliver 6 prescriptions to one person, the delivery cost is only one rather than 6 times. Well, this is kind of the same concept, like sell them something, and then if they get a vitamin on top of that, you've basically, there was no more work to do that. And so it's all goes to profit.
Very good point.
Susan, as I sit here and listen to all of us, one of the things I think about is, as you know, we also have clients that are pharmacy owners, right? So what have you seen as the barriers for someone to switch or to change? Like, what are they telling you, like, why they won't do it now? And I can tell you mine. If you want to ask me, I'll tell you what our barriers were.
But please.
Well, our
Susan's
biggest
like, I'd love to
barrier,
hear this.
I guess our biggest barrier was, okay, does it integrate to our pharmacy system?
Okay, yep, heard that.
Or how long is it going to take for me to get approved? All these stupid credit card companies have, like, you got to give a blood sample, and I've got to give my legit script certification, and I got to do all this crap because they think I'm a crook. So I sit there and think of all the hassles that I got to go through to use your product or somebody else's. I guess what I found is it wasn't as big a deal as I thought. It was easier. It was easier than I thought.
Great. That's great insight, Tim, because that's what we're hearing more than ever right now. Because a lot of the credit card processors are saying unfortunately they don't want to work with these. It's so bad. I disagree with this whole thing, but that's the reason why we're here, because we work with pharmacy. That's the reason why we're here, because as I said earlier, being a fintech company, we do the credentialing on behalf of the pharmacy. We take on all the risk and the compliance. We're PCI, we're HIPAA, we do it all. Right. So you don't have to deal with it. You did the merchant application. It didn't take long, did it?
No, that's what I started as I was listening to you, like wondering, why wouldn't someone, again, normally we talk really big technology changes, like, okay, I want to leave my pharmacy system because, let's say, whoever has a new bell or whistle. And then kind of what, again, I think we've seen is that no pharmacy system can do everything. They're going to need, like, a HealNow company, or maybe it's an IVR company. There's no way that you can do everything. Like, that's what I found as a pharmacist. I can't do everything, or I'll make no money.
Right. And why do you want to focus on your core competency, right? I mean, that's what it's about as
well.
Right.
But again, my fear is always what a pain in the butt it'll be. And we've, Owen and I have added some different technology things to let's say, our business, and really I can't think of anything that's been really that hard. It's really more me as the owner thinking, oh gosh, I got to fill out this form. And then, to be honest, the forms are all the stuff you got. There's nothing, oh, I need a canceled check, I need to write down my license number. It's all the crap I got in my file drawer. There's nothing like you're not asking, again, like I said, a blood sample, or for me to do a physical. It's fill out, basically 10 items on a sheet, and there you go. And then you decide if you want to take a risk. And obviously there's, NCPDP and insurance companies, and, have other things that can clarify that we're legitimate, but I guess I think we just overthink it as an owner, I guess. That's a really
hard point, because why? Because it's like, it's changing. It looks like, oh my gosh, it's change. And in human nature, we're all resistant to change, right? We all are, but we have to embrace what is going to be the beneficial, like what is going to help grow the business. And immediately, like when you say, okay, HealNow, we're going to provide, we're going to integrate with your pharmacy management system, and we're going to allow your patients now to do texting. It's like, or we're going to text, have your patients pay via text, I should say. It's like, oh my gosh, you're going to interrupt my whole workflow. And that's what we hear a lot. And once we go through the merge application process, they get approved, because you don't have to do a blood sample. You don't have to give away your kidney, that you'd have to do with legit script. You just do that merchant application. Our compliance team works with our sponsored bank. We do the underwriting process, approval. The pharmacy receives their merchant ID. We're a cloud-based, our platform is cloud-based, so there's no heavy hardware that's to come in. It's just really simple, like it's an integration. We do an implementation call, right? We get everything set up, we do training, and sometimes like in the beginning, we always have the pharmacy staff come in on the training because they're the ones that are gonna be doing it. We need their buy-in and they need to understand how it works. Once they start understanding how it works, what we see is like, oh my gosh, how do we live without this? This is making our lives so much easier. So it's a really quick process. As a result of you getting your merchant ID, Tim, Owen, you have probably seen in your statements, you don't have that interchange up and down fees of Amex, and you don't have the surcharges that erode profitability. You probably see a flat 2.9% plus 30 across the board, right? In the business. So you can know how to budget, and
Yeah,
and you and I talked before when we started doing this. Like I believe that as businesses, it's okay now to charge fees to use that kind of service. That you could like you go to some restaurants and they'll charge you the 3% if you're going to use a credit card or whatever.
right.
I don't think in healthcare that's bad either. Or
or
like we go to basketball games together sometimes, and you go to UD Arena, University of Dayton Arena basketball. I mean, they don't even take cash.
Oh, is that right?
It's like it's like, here, use a credit card. That's where we are as a society. We are cashless.
And I also, charge them for things like delivery. And the great part is you can just add that to the cart. So like if you want to charge for delivery and they choose delivery, it just adds it to the cart and they have to pay for it. And then, to the consumer who's willing to pay on a text message like that, like they're used to like that additional charge being added.
They are.
So
Absolutely.
it's not as uncomfortable as telling someone on the phone, like, hey, I'm gonna have to charge you for the delivery. It's like, oh, you chose delivery, that's gonna be $5. And they can either say yes or no, and no one's offended or feels weird, or it just gets done. And
That's like the way things are right now, right? I mean, that's what DoorDash, Uber Eats, anything you get delivered, you have to pay for that. That convenience cost, right? So it's kind of they're just used to it by nature. They'll pay for convenience versus going out and driving on icy roads to pick something up. I mean,
And I think that, what we're talking about, really should help our clients. I mean, like we always feel bad of charging for something. And at some point you have to, go look at your Amazon statement. Did they charge you to bring that to you? Go look at the DoorDash. Did they charge you to bring it to you? Go buy something online from a shoe or a merchandiser that you like. They're gonna charge you for these things. It's just what we expect. And everybody knows, like, look, you go get a cup of coffee and they want you to tip them.
yeah,
Everybody knows that nobody makes enough money now. It's like you saying that you need to charge something. I don't think a consumer is like, oh my gosh, now you're going to charge this, and why are you doing this to me? We all understand. So many people don't make a living wage, and like, yes, I'm saying that we should charge them for that stuff, but the reality is, here's the reason I think a business owner should charge for those things. They can pay their employees more money.
yeah,
absolutely.
And I think we as the owners don't think that way. I think we think, oh gosh, it's just going to be another thing, and they're going to, I'm going to lose business doing that. You're wrong. It is not true. People, and I don't know what the tips are going through these drive-throughs, but look at how many. Like, can you imagine? And I don't know if you guys do it. Like, I sit there and I'm giving a tip to somebody at a drive-through. You know why I am? Because I know they're underpaid. I know you can't live on $20 an hour. You cannot live on $20 an hour.
Then on the flip side too, like what are you guys seeing? Like there's been staffing shortages in every industry too. So what your point is, you want to pay your your staff more to retain them. Because
Yes.
it's tough to do. It's a specialty. These technicians and pharmacists it's a specialty occupation.
You know, a side story on hiring people, Susan, you know, it used to be that we would call somebody after they fill out an application, even on our Indeed people. You know, if it goes through Indeed, you know, we call them to set up an interview or whatever. You know, my staff was having terrible success getting anybody to come in for an interview. So I just basically thought, why is that? And then I took over the hiring process because it's like, this shouldn't be so hard. We're a good company to work for. We've got a good environment. We pay people fairly. I mean, I know it's not like it's a good place to work. And I know there's bad places that are out there. I put an application for a couple of tech jobs, and within 2 days, I got 300 applications here in Dayton, Ohio.
You're kidding.
300 applications. 300. And most of them were qualified people, Susan. And you know how I contacted them?
That was
I
my next
texted
question.
them. I texted them. I say, hey, this is Tim Clark from Clark's Pharmacy. Got your thing. I was wondering if we could set up a call, and then I'd send them a Google Meets, you know, invitation, and we do like a virtual thing like we are now. And I get to meet them, and then if they kind of pass the Tim Clark test, then I'd send it to my manager. And it's worked out.
That's amazing. How about that?
Because we really, you know, we kept thinking, oh, emailing these people or doing this stuff is working, but no, I'm sorry. The preferred method has got to be texting now.
So is that what you suggest? Like in this?
Absolutely.
Well, obviously proof's in the pudding with 300. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
The 300, I just give credit to Indeed. I mean, like, they've got lots of people looking for jobs.
Right.
You know, lots of people are looking for jobs. They're, you know, everybody is looking to make more money. It's just a fact.
But converting them, Susan, to an interview, if you text them and then do an online interview, amazing, they're showing up.
Well, it's because it's easy for them.
About people being ghosted all the time and not coming.
Oh, we were ghosted all the time.
Well,
all the time.
It's no different than.
Is this recently, or is this like?
Yes,
he did this last week.
Yeah, this is in the last few months. Yeah.
Gosh.
So that's how people are. They, you know, it's like, hey, I don't want to go drive an interview in person when I don't even know who you are or if this job's right for me.
Gosh, times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, it's just how it is. And so it's no different. And, you know, yeah. And if we can, you know, offer a good job at a good pay and use things like this to, you know, think about it. If we start charging for delivery or credit card fees, plus we could get a 22% jump in 30% of our sales. I mean, suddenly we might actually have some money to pay employees. And
that's right.
You know,
reinvest in them, reinvest in your employees.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is going to sound crazy, but and I'm not. And Susan, you know, I like your company. You know, I appreciate what you've done for me, and you're not asking me to say this, but you've allowed me to pay my employees more money. And yes, I can make more money too, but you know, not every owner is maybe like Owen and I, who, like, I think we treat people fairly, and the recipe to have a good business isn't really that complicated, you know, and I think your goal as a business owner has got to be to make more money so I can give more away.
Wow.
And again, I'm not trying to be philosophical. I'm just trying to say this is why you are in business. You're in business to give yourself a better life. You're in business to serve people better. You're in business to give your employees an opportunity to work in a safe, good place. And usually our barrier is that we as independents don't charge enough for what we do. And frankly, we can't, because the PBMs and everybody who wants to, give us, we'll fiddle and we'll be sad about how, reimbursements are, but some of it is our own problem. So, look at problems of how I can fix them.
And the tools didn't exist, but they do now. Like the market has changed, especially since COVID. And, we have other ways to charge for our services, whether that's just simply, the credit cards, the delivery, cross-selling for things, or services, our consults, all this other stuff. We can charge for this stuff now. And so, and if people expect us to do so.
That's right. That's right.
And so it's, that's how it is. So, I mean,
streamlining and its additional revenue streams in the store. It's gonna be the secret sauce.
yeah, and I think that's what we're trying to say, Susan. It's text to pay. There's a little bit more to it than just, and that's why we were kind of really pushing to get, even though our pharmacies, honestly, were probably in a place where we shouldn't be adding new technology. They're so busy and staffing changes and we're doing all this different stuff, but they had to have it in order to operate better. And we had to get the consumer experience to be different, or else, all this work we're going to start going this way. And I mean, frankly, going back to Tim, you say that we're paying them better. Yes, we are. But their jobs are also better because they're not dealing with the phone and the chaos of.
I was just going to say that. I
all
was
of
just going to
this.
say, yes.
That's a solid point, Ellen. I mean, their jobs are better.
They are better.
More meaningful, aren't they? They're more meaningful. No one. Okay, yes, we do work to survive, right? We do work to make money to survive. I think what is really important is gratification. And your staff, what you guys do, you save lives. Instead of calling and getting a credit card on the phone and scheduling a delivery, that's not where your staff is supposed to be. They're professionals. They're medical professionals, and patients. People need that. I've noticed people more sicker than I've ever seen ever. So many people are sick. They need that consultation. They need to go into their pharmacy, that accessibility, and that consultation. They need that more than ever today. So you don't want a pharmacy staff member on the phone when a patient comes in. No, I'm busy, because you've got to get paid too. So we can help you guys get paid, and you can spend more time with your patients. It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
It really is. Yeah.
Tim, what you said to reinvest, allowed to reinvest. That was wonderful. I loved hearing that. So thank you for sharing. Just reinvest your employees.
So I mean, go ahead, Tim.
No, sometimes we just look at, all decisions you make as an owner are, let's say, big decisions, but some of them are simple, and, making it more convenient should always be that. As a business to survive, you've always got to figure out a way of being more convenient. You can't be the barrier to them using you. Yeah, I mean, so, maybe you can't do that, everything you want to, but my challenge to everybody is to do a little bit more all the time. You don't have to do everything, do a little bit more all the time. Like, you talk about like Legit Script getting certified, yeah, they ask for a bunch of stuff, but you can get online and do that. I mean, I did that myself. I mean, it's like, I'm just a regular person. I didn't need my attorney or anybody to fill out that stuff. Filling out your application, I mean, I could do that. I've got my bank routing number.
But you don't have to do that with us, Tim. It's just real simple. I had a pharmacy that wants to work with us, and he said, "Why am I paying Legit Script, a company that I'm not even using for anything? They're meaningless in my business. Why am I going to pay them $2,000 a year? Why do I have to do this? They don't add anything to my business." And I think
look at Segis and all the other stuff that somebody gets some money to just add something to the whole thing, and it's
this comes really, I hold you guys in the highest regard. You guys grew up in a pharmacy. You're compounding lab, 75 years or so. I mean, you guys know it. People should listen to you. You've seen it all. You've seen it when people are coming in with this, probably the root beer floats and the soda machines and the that's classic. But those pharmacies that have that still, I think are really cool. That's really cool. That's iconic. But
Yeah.
you've seen it all. So what have you seen? Like what do you suggest to, I mean, you've made some really good, recommendations, but what do you suggest to these pharmacies after all of your experience? Can't keep it in your heads. You gotta share it with everyone.
Well, I think again, if you don't have an easier way for your people to pay, you need to look at products like yours that will help make it more convenient for your consumer. You've got to stop acting like this isn't major stuff of changing pharmacy systems. This is not that. It's not as complicated, and typically, like, we talk about automation as an example, where we've all looked at, and we've all used automation, robots, packaging machines, all these things, and then we always wonder about our ROI, and we have to calculate it because really the money doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's ridiculously overpriced in my opinion. But this is an ROI sort of thing that we're talking about, immediate gratification.
And
Look, I got paid.
I see that. I kind of think of customer experience and the marketing aspects of this. And, when I was a kid or even a teenager working at the store, like the employee parking was in the back and we had a back door. So we'd always go in the back door. But once a week, my dad would make me walk around to the front.
Really?
And the reason we did that was to experience the customer experience. Is there leaves? Does it look messy? Is it vacuumed? What are you seeing?
Amazing.
Well, that has kind of changed. And now I think as a owner, you need to also be a customer and go, okay, I'm going to order a med like from home and see what this is like. And go, would I accept this if I was doing anything else? And see what that, how that feels. And I think, again, like Tim said, like, you get your car fixed and they text you. If they text you for everything now, right? Like I go to a restaurant, they tell me when the order is going to be ready for pickup and I can leave my house in 5 minutes, it'll be ready. And then I text them when I get there and they bring it to my door. And, that's how everything is. So,
Right.
do that experience yourself and be your own customer and see what that's like.
Well said. And Tim, like your daughter working at Toast, that we call ourselves the Toast for Pharmacy.
No, I think I've told you
believe
that.
that.
I think
Yeah, you did. You did. And that's what my CEO is
that's
always
fair.
model ourselves out after, because the Toast is to have that A to Z that I went to see a client in Dallas about a week and a half ago, and I love this, the velvet glove experience, not what the velvet glove. Give them the velvet glove experience. They're investing. It's a competitive marketplace. Give your patients, your customers, the velvet glove experience from A to Z. The tracker. That's what we do with that's what we do with prescriptions for pharmacy. And
Yeah. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. So
yeah, and I would encourage you guys to just keep thinking that way.
yes.
I mean, the only thing again that you're really missing is that, let me get rid of my POS machine, Susan, and let me just use my HealNow app to check out at the register. Let that be my register.
Well. You're a fortune teller.
Well,
I should stop right here.
I assume that's our next call, our next conversation.
There's
if you're modeling, let's say the Toast. I mean, Toast is really getting the same thing as HealNow, and I hate to give somebody a plug, but I mean, it is a good company. I mean, what they do for a small business is exactly the same thing. You can use Toast to order online. You can use Toast that goes back to your kitchen so they know what to make. It's the same thing that you do for me, like where it is in the workflow. But again, it's when we use that workflow, we send out the message out of our pharmacy system and they don't have a way to pay in that. Like it's not joined. Everything to me has to be joined together with paying. It has. I mean, The ultimate success is me getting paid.
It's interesting you say that, Tim, because all these younger owners that we're helping starting by, I'll be like, oh yeah, I mean you'll get your pharmacy system and they have a point of sale and they're like, can I use an iPad? And I'll be like, well, unfortunately, pharmacy's
Well,
complicated and there's and like it's really hard to use one, but it is a little weird to come in and have like a computer and this scanning and I'm like, what am I in the grocery store? Like what's happening right now?
Well, things are going to be
So
changing, and we've what you just said, everything under one roof, and
yeah.
essentially make your lives easier. That enhance that workflow. You don't want to be toggling between different systems all over the place. We integrate with what 7, 8 pharmacy management systems, and the ones that we have unidirectional, we're working on bi-directional. So most of them now are bi-directional, where the information talks to each other, right? The communication, and it's centralized in the pharmacy management system. That's what
That's
you said, what you want, right? Instead of going to this system under one roof. That's what we're doing.
that's great.
look forward to that edition.
Yep. No, we'll be excited
You guys will
about
be the
that.
first to know. Coming soon.
Okay. Any other parting words here? This has been great. It's got my mind thinking a little bit about I'm gonna make our pharmacist mad. Yeah, I got a couple more ideas here. They'll probably tell me to calm down. But yeah, well actually they'll tell Tim and because I'll push Tim and then
Tim's
they'll
already texted his pharmacist. Tim's already done it. Tim's already
yeah,
texted.
yeah. Any other parting words here? Okay.
No,
Oh, it's great. Well,
thanks,
Thank
Susan,
you.
for making our company better. And
Well, I want to thank you.
I like what you do for us.
Well, we like what we really appreciate your business, and we appreciate our partnership. And stay tuned. We're gonna and
that's great.
ideas come from pharmacy, so keep funneling them our way. But we really value our relationship with you and look forward to future growth. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks again. And again, this is being recorded. We'll get this out on various different channels here in the next day or so. Thanks, everyone. And I think we've got another one coming in the 3rd week of March. So look out for that communication. Thanks.